students, welcome to All Force e-learning. This is session 79. We are discussing methods of preparation of carbonyl compounds. In methods of preparation of carbonyl compounds, we used to discuss few methods which are useful for preparation of only aldehydes. In previous session, we will discuss preparation of aldehydes from nitriles under the name of Stephen's reduction. So that is applicable for only aldehydes. Similarly, for only aldehydes, we used to learn Rosenmund's reduction also. And in the similar way, we are going to learn today one more method, and in this method also we are going to prepare only aldehydes. Ketones we cannot prepare. Let us see, that is OXO process. OXO process, also called hydroformylation. Hydroformylation. Nothing but addition of formaldehyde to alkene. Let us consider unsymmetrical alkene RCH double bond CH2. Here actually we are going to add carbon monoxide and hydrogen individually, but overall is addition of formaldehyde. Overall addition is addition of formaldehyde. Here carbon monoxide and hydrogen in presence of cobalt tetracarbonyl, that we are going to mention as CO taken 4 times, and basically it exists as dimer, that also you can represent as CO2 CO 8 times, means the same cobalt tetracarbonyl we can also write as CO2 CO 8 times. It also exists as dimer, and we are getting RCH2 CH2 CHO. If you observe here, we used to add one hydrogen to this carbon, one CH4 to this carbon. Overall HCHO addition. HCHO addition means towards one carbon hydrogen, towards another carbon CHO has to go. Now in this unsymmetrical alkene, this carbon consists more number of hydrogens as per Markovnikov rule. As per Markovnikov rule, the carbon which consists more number of hydrogen, to that hydrogen has to go to that carbon, towards that carbon. But in this product you are getting reverse. That means it is very clear anti-Markovnikov addition of formaldehyde to unsymmetrical alkene. Anti-Markovnikov addition of formaldehyde to unsymmetrical alkene. It gives product aldehyde. There are two possibilities are there. One is in according to Markovnikov product, Markovnikov rule, Markovnikov product, and in against to means anti-Markovnikov rule. This one anti-Markovnikov rule or anti-Markovnikov product, this one. So two products you are getting, but always you are getting anti-Markovnikov product is a major product and Markovnikov product is minor product. Anti-Markovnikov product is major and Markovnikov product is minor. Obviously, in previous sessions we was learned that Markovnikov and anti-Markovnikov addition. Markovnikov addition in general ionic mechanism, anti-Markovnikov addition in general takes place free radical mechanism. So here which type of mechanism proceeds? Neither ionic mechanism nor free radical mechanism. This is only rearrangement mechanism. This is only a rearrangement mechanism. OXO process is only a rearrangement mechanism. Okay. Now, so in OXO process, addition of formaldehyde, anti-Markovnikov addition of formaldehyde to unsymmetrical alkene. Ultimately, you are getting aldehydes only. There is no scope to get any ketones. Now, let us see mechanism here. How mechanism proceeds? HCO taken 4 times, cobalt hydride, metal attached to hydrogen, and it also consists of 4 ligands, 4 carbonyl groups. So cobalt hydride tetracarbonyl, this is the starting reagent. This one, upon losing one carbon monoxide, so here total number of bonds here, total number of electrons and bonds here, electrons are 18 electrons will be there. By losing one carbon monoxide, it converts into 16 electron species, 18 electron species. By leaving one carbon monoxide, it converts into 16 electron species. So HCO, CO taken 4 times by losing carbon monoxide, it converts into HCO, CO taken thrice. Now this one upon addition of unsymmetrical alkene. Here if you observe, alkyl group electron releasing group, resultant pi electrons are shifted towards this carbon, and this carbon gets partial negative charge and this carbon gets partial positive charge. And here of course metal attached to hydrogen. This hydrogen acquires negative charge and a metal is going to bear positive charge. So this negatively charged hydrogen come and attach to this carbon, and positively charged cobalt metal has to come and attach to this negatively charged carbon. So here really are they going to split into ions as H minus CO plus? No. So that the charges what appear here, they are partial charges, and here addition is anti-Marconic of addition. Anti-Marconic of addition, and we are getting anti-Marconic of product. And after completion of addition, you are getting product RCH2, CO carbonyl, tricarbonyl product. Means towards one carbon hydrogen H minus added, towards terminal carbon tricarbonyl cobalt added. And later the same carbon monoxide which departed here, it has to come and attach again to the carbonyl group, means cobalt group, cobalt metal. Then it converts into tetracarbonyl cobalt. So if you observe from first to here, instead of one hydrogen right now alkyl group is there. Instead of earlier HCO, CO taken 4 times, now it converts into RCH2, CO taken 4 times. That means instead of hydrogen alkyl group came here. Now this one upon addition of this one upon means here after formation of cobalt tetracarbonyl, further losing of carbon monoxide, so means rearrangement. Losing means cobalt loses, this cobalt loses carbon monoxide, and the carbon monoxide migrates towards this terminal carbon. It is very clear now here, this carbon attached to cobalt metal, obviously this one is going to bear negative charge and the cobalt metal is going to bear positive charge, and the carbon monoxide shifts towards this carbon, resultant CH2CO, CO taken thrice. Here what happened? Rearrangement takes place. What of the carbonyl group? Rearrangements. Earlier terminal carbon is attached to cobalt. But here what happened? Terminal carbon is attached to carbonyl group, and that carbonyl carbon is attached to cobalt. Now from this, if decarbonization means again CO molecule, it takes that, and you are getting this product. Whereas this one upon hydrogenation, we are getting RCH2, Here both the hydrogen atoms attached to cobalt, H2CO taken thrice, which upon further rearrangement, one of the hydrogen goes to carbon, and we are getting RCH2, CHO, and CO taken thrice. So overall, when you observe this reaction, we are getting that. So maybe carbon monoxide attached to one carbon and hydrogen attached to one carbon. It looks like that only. But here if you observe, initially carbon monoxide is not going to add. Here adding species is HCO, CO taken thrice. This one is going to add to unsymmetrical alkyl, and finally you are getting additional product. Later this formed compound takes that carbon monoxide and converts into cobalt tetracarbonyl, and this cobalt tetracarbonyl rearranges. That means here I am going to write here cobalt. This one is cobalt. One of the carbon monoxide here. Remaining 3 carbon monoxide like that. Then what happened here? This electron goes like that, and this electron comes like this. Means in between these 2 carbon bond formation, and this bond is going to break simultaneously. This one only rearrangement. Here as earlier I mentioned that this is not ionic or free radical reaction. So overall product, even though we are getting anti-Marconic of product, here it do not follow any anti-Marconic of mechanism, because here there is no more peroxide initiators also. Without using any peroxide initiator, we are getting anti-Marconic of product, and that too simple rearrangement. How that rearrangement? Alkyl group migrates from cobalt metal to carbonyl group. Resultant we are getting cobalt tricarbonyl. And later, this one upon hydrogenation, both the hydrogen atoms attached to cobalt, both the hydrogen atoms attached to cobalt, and once the hydrogen attached to cobalt, obviously hydrogen is going to be a negative charge. That negatively charged hydrogen easily come and attack upon carbonyl group, easily come and attack upon carbonyl group, resultant you are getting CHO. So overall, if you observe here, overall addition is addition of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and this one only we are going to say HC double bond OH looks like addition of formaldehyde, and addition of formaldehyde in which H plus will come and attack upon less number of carbon, less number of hydrogen containing carbon, and CHO group has to attach to more number of hydrogen containing carbon. That's why I used to mention this one is anti-Markovnikov of addition. So in oxo process we can prepare only aldehydes, we cannot prepare ketones, and major product is anti-Markovnikov product, means unbranched product, and minor product is branched product, means Markovnikov product. So this mechanism proceeds only by rearrangement of alkyl group from metal to carbonyl carbon, rearrangement of alkyl group from metal to carbonyl carbon. This only happens, but this not follows any ionic mechanism or free radical mechanism. Students, one more complex mechanism process, preparation of both aldehydes and ketones in this method, that is Wacker's process. In this process we can prepare both aldehydes and ketones. Simply this reaction is alkene like ethylene upon reaction with palladium chloride and water in presence of catalyst cupric chloride or cuprous chloride, even though if you consider cupric chloride, further it converts into cuprous chloride. Okay, that's why cupric chloride catalyst, and we are getting aldehydes or ketones. If it is simple ethylene, then we are getting aldehyde, and if it is any substituted alkene, then we are getting ketones. So ethene upon reaction with palladium chloride and water in presence of cupric chloride and air and oxygen, here we are getting acetaldehyde, palladium and HCl. Instead of that, propene if you consider, which upon reaction with palladium chloride and H2O in presence of catalyst cupric chloride, air and oxygen, we are getting ketone, palladium and HCl. Overall, if you observe these two reactions, reaction takes place in presence of oxygen, and palladium earlier it was Pd plus 2, now it's reduced to Pd 0. That means palladium gets reduced from plus 2 to 0. So it reduces means here nothing but alkene gets oxidized. Nothing but here oxidation of alkenes. Oxidation of ethylene gives aldehyde. Oxidation of any other substituted alkenes gives ketones. Now formed palladium, being palladium is more costly metal, here it is not going to consume. Formed palladium further reacts with HCl and it converts into PdCl to again take part in the reaction. Here palladium also reacts with CuCl2 and it converts into PdCl2 and CuCl. So far until unless reaction is proceed, palladium is not going to consume. Consumed one is cupric chloride and it turns to cuprous chloride. This cuprous chloride again combined with HCl, again it converts into CuCl2. So cupric chloride consumed and cupric chloride converts into cuprous chloride. Cuprous chloride by taking HCl again converts into cupric chloride. Main here cupric chloride converts formed product byproduct palladium into palladium chloride. And the overall reaction is it is oxidation of alkenes and reduced one is Pd plus 2 and it converts into Pd. Now simply if you want to learn reaction like this, but its mechanism a little complex mechanism. Here you can see palladium reacts with cupric chloride. As I mentioned that it means you were right, reaction like this Pd combined with HCl, but this won't happen directly. Palladium is not going to react with HCl. Initially HCl reacts with the cuprous chloride and converts into cupric chloride. That cupric chloride reacts with palladium. So palladium reacts with cupric chloride. Here Cu plus 2 converts into Cu plus 1 palladium 0 to plus 2. So palladium converts into palladium chloride, and further palladium chloride combined with another 2 Cl minus and converts into palladium PdCl4 minus 2. Now here actually reaction the one which is participated is PdCl4 minus 2 is going to take part in the reaction, and that PdCl4 minus 2. Here what happened, this alkene is coordinated with the palladium and it displaces one of the ligand. As we know, palladium coordination number is 4 here, and 4 ligands means 4 Cl minus ions acts as 4 ligands. Now this alkene is going to displace one of the Cl minus. Alkene displaces one of the Cl minus, resultant there will be a pi complex formation. Here pi bond is coordinated to metal. Pi bond is coordinated to metal means by donating its pi electrons, one of the Cl minus has to come out. Here Cl minus came out. Now we are getting PD, 3 Cl ligands and 1 alkene ligand. Because of it is coordinate covalent bond, also called A2 bond. Here we are showing with the arrow. Means here either of these two carbon coordinated with palladium so far. Next, when we are using water, this water displaces Cl and Cl comes out as Cl minus. Right now palladium has 1 chloride and 1 water molecule. Here 1 chlorine, and this alkene is coordinated. Further, one more water molecule has to come. Because of this methyl group is electron releasing group, and these pi electrons are shifted towards this one. This carbon gets negative charge and this carbon gets positive charge. Upon positively charged carbon, oxygen of water molecule has to come and attack, and because of pi electrons are shifted towards this carbon acquires negative charge, and now this carbon, negatively charged carbon, is going to form bond with palladium, right? Then here this carbon attached to OH group, right, and 1 CH3, right? There it consists one hydrogen, one OH, 1 CH3, this carbon, and now this carbon CH2 minus, this CH2 minus coordinated with palladium. That means there will be metal carbon bond here. So here after formation of this complex organometallic compound, CH sigma bond electrons turns like this, and these electrons shifted towards this carbon. Here beta carbon elimination, this one is alpha, this one is beta. Beta carbon elimination, beta carbon containing hydrogen comes out, and these electrons in between palladium and hydrogen bond formation takes place, and here CH2 double bond COH CH3. This CH2 double bond COH CH3. Here this OC bond electron shifted towards this carbon, and this pi electrons are shifted towards this carbon. This hydrogen will be taken by this carbon, and here H plus comes out, this H plus, and this Cl comes out as Cl minus, it comes out as HCl, and PD coordinated with water molecules also comes out, and it remains as PD, and here you are getting acetone. This is complete mechanism of Waker's process. Once again, palladium first converts into PdCl2 further converts into PdCl4 minus, now participating in the mechanism. PdCl4 minus, one of the Cl minus will be displaced by one alkene, means alkene coordination takes place, means here pi complex, that what we call pi complex. Now palladium and pi bond, this in between pi bond and palladium coordinated covalent bond exists. Now water molecule, we are using 2 water molecules here. One of the water molecule displaces Cl minus of palladium and it coordinates with palladium metal, and second water molecule directly involves in addition, that addition what we call the nucleophilic addition reaction, and here in between these two carbons pi electrons are shifted towards this carbon. The resultant terminal carbon acquires negative charge and central carbon bears positive charge. Upon positively charged central carbon, water molecule has to attack, and this central carbon now possesses one methyl group, one OH group from water, and one hydrogen is there, and terminal CH2 minus is coordinated with palladium metal. Then rearrangement here. So this rearrangement is nothing but beta hydride transfer. So this is palladium carbon, because of metal this one carbon, these electrons are freely shifted towards this one, and this CH sigma bond electrons are shifted towards palladium. The resultant palladium and hydrogen between these two bond exists. Now this bond again means this hydrogen again comes to this carbon. So here whenever these electrons shifted, here these electrons comes like this, and this one leave away, and this OH bond electron shifted. Nothing but it is enol. Enol converts into keto form. Nothing but you observe here CH2 double bond COH and CH3. This is enol. Enol converts into ketone, but when converting enol into ketone, which hydrogen is going to take part? palladium containing hydrogen is going to extract, and this H plus Cl minus HCl comes out, H2O and acetone. If here hydrogen is there, then we are getting aldehyde. This is Vacuous process mechanism. Next one is from acetoacetic ester. As we know, acetic ester is nothing but CH3, C double bond O, C2H5. This is what we call ethyl acetate. This is an ester in which if this carbon containing hydrogen is replaced by one of the acyl group or acetyl group, then we are getting CH3, C double bond O, CH2, C double bond O, C2H5. This is what we call acetoacetic ester. Acetoacetic ester upon hydrolysis. Acetoacetic ester upon hydrolysis. During hydrolysis, ester cleavage takes place. Then we are getting CH3, C double bond O, CH2, C double bond O, OH, and ethyl alcohol. So ethyl alcohol comes out here, and we are getting alpha, beta. This is what we call the beta keto acid, and beta keto acids undergoes decarboxylation simply by heating. That means without any decarboxylating agent like soda lime. Beta keto acids, beta dicarboxylic acids, beta gamma unsaturated carboxylic acids. These three undergoes the themselves decarboxylation upon heating without using any decarboxylating agent. Then in such a case we are getting CH3, C double bond O, CH3. So in this method we can prepare only ketones. In this method we can prepare only ketones. We cannot prepare any aldehydes in this method. So acetoacetic ester upon hydrolysis we are getting beta keto acids. Beta keto acids undergoes decarboxylation. We are getting acetone. Now if we consider here methyl substituted CH3 and C double bond O, C2H5. Methyl substituted acetoacetic ester. Then this one undergoes hydrolysis. During hydrolysis, we are getting CH3, C double bond O, CH3, C double bond O, OH plus C2H5 OH. Again, this one is alpha and beta keto acid, which undergoes decarboxylation, and we are getting CH3, C double bond O, CH3, here H2 means methyl ketone, and carbon dioxide comes out here. So whatever the ketone you want to prepare, you wish to prepare, that you can prepare here simply by substituting at this alpha carbon. This one is from acetoacetic ester and its derivatives, we can prepare ketones. Students, next method of preparation, either from alkenes or 1,2-diols. 1,2-diols, dihydric alcohols are called glycols. So by oxidation of 1,2-glycol, we are discussing here oxidation reaction, and by oxidation of 1,2-glycols, as we know here RCH double bond CHR dash. Let us consider alkene. This one upon reaction with KMnO4 or osmium tetroxide, here we are getting diol, vicinal diol, and these vicinal diols upon further oxidation with either lead tetraacetate PbOAc taken 4 times or HiO4 periodic acid, lead tetraacetate or HiO4. These two are selective oxidizing agents, and these oxidizes only vicinal diols. So here OH group containing carbons, this bond is going to cleave via formation of cyclic transition state mechanism here. Carbon in between these two carbon containing OH group and HiO4. Here HiO4 or lead tetraacetate, it oxidizes only diols, vicinal diols, and here we are getting R, C double bond OH and R dash C double bond OH. We can prepare aldehyde. And similarly, here if double bond carbon is attached to, one of the double bond carbon is attached to 2 alkyl groups and other double bond carbon attached to 1 hydrogen and 1 alkyl group. In such a case, upon oxidation, they forms vicinal diols, R C double bond C R dash. Here double bond is going to break, and here you are getting vicinal divols. This vicinal divols upon further oxidation with HiO4 or lead tetraacid. Previously we discussed lead tetraacid oxidation, and once again I am not going to discuss here. R C double bond O R plus R dash C double bond O H. So we are getting one aldehyde, another one is ketone. If both the double bond carbon atoms is substituted with alkyl group, in such a case we are getting only ketone as product. So first KMnO4 and followed by lead tetraacetate, second reagent, then we are getting R C double bond O R as product. So we can prepare in this method both aldehydes and ketones, both we can prepare now. So during oxidation with KMnO4, here divol formation, further reaction with lead tetraacetate, we are getting all carbonyl compounds. That carbonyl compounds may be aldehydes or ketones. Next, reaction of alkyl halides with dimethyl sulfoxide. Reaction of alkyl halides with dimethyl sulfoxide. So primary alkyl halides, upon reaction with dimethyl sulfoxide, we are getting aldehydes. Secondary alkyl halides, upon reaction with dimethyl sulfoxide, we are getting ketones. Let us see that reaction. RCH2X, which upon reaction with S double bond O CH3. As we know very well, here pi electrons are shifted towards oxygen. This oxygen requires negative charge. This sulfur gets positive charge. And here in alkyl halide, halogen gets negative charge, and carbon atom is going to be positive charge. Then here we are getting R carbon CH2, and here sulfur and O minus. Here sulfur O minus CH3 and CH3. Here sulfur, because of these electrons are shifted towards oxygen. Oxygen is going to form bond here, O and C bond, and then sulfur, 2 methyl groups, and here sulfur is going to bear positive charge. Now because of sulfur is going to bear positive charge, with respect to that positive charge, this hydrogen is more acidic, and this H plus leave away. Here X minus comes out, X minus with H plus, we are getting R CH2, here O sulfur, and here we are getting CH2 minus and CH3. In next case, these electrons are shifted and these electrons goes like that. Here one of the CH bond, here O oxygen sulfur bond electrons are shifted towards this bond, and this H plus comes out. Then we are getting R C double bond O H plus here we are getting RCH2O and sulfur. Here this methyl group and this CH2H, and it is going to bear positive charge. Now this, because of the sulfur bear positive charge, this carbon containing hydrogen is acidic. Then this H plus comes out, resultant we are getting RCH2 oxygen sulfur and CH3, whereas CH2 minus we are getting here. See, after formation of CH2 minus, after formation of this CH2 minus, here sulfur is going to bear positive charge. Further, here this CH bonded electrons are shifted towards this one pulls electron towards, and this H plus taken by the CH2. Then we are getting R C double bond OH plus CH3S CH3. This is the product. So we are getting primary, if you are considering primary alkyl halide upon reaction with dimethyl sulfide, first you are getting this oxygen sulfur bond formation product, and later losing of proton H plus, and we are getting carbanion, and one of the CH bond electrons shifted towards oxygen. These electrons are shifted towards positive charge sulfur, resultant formation of aldehyde and dimethyl sulfide. if we are using secondary alkyl halides RR-CHX, this one upon reaction with dimethyl sulfoxide S double bond O CH3. In this case, we are getting RR-C double bond O plus dimethyl sulfide plus HX. So, is there any possibility for preparing carbonyl compounds with tertiary alkyl halides? Tertiary alkyl halide. This one is secondary and this one is tertiary. Then what products we are going to get? Try to write. So one more method, named reaction for oxidation method only. This what we got opener oxidation for preparing carbonyl compounds. In opener oxidation, primary alcohols upon oxidation gives aldehyde. Secondary alcohols upon oxidation gives ketones. In general, as reagent, we can use aluminum isopropoxide or aluminum tertiary butoxide. These are we are using as oxidizing agents. Since they are oxidizing agents, they have to reduce themselves and converts into ketones. Means alcohols upon oxidation converts into aldehydes or ketones. For that oxidation, we are using again aluminum isopropoxide, aluminum tertiary butoxide. So this gets reduced. And here solvent we are using as a hydrodiam acceptor. Hydrodiam acceptor just like ketones, acetone, butanone like that. Or we can also use parabenzoquinone which do not have ionizable hydrogen, and also possess very less standard reduction potential value. So because of less SRP value, we can also use a benzophenone or acetone or any ketone like butanone, pentanone like that, anyone we can use. And this reaction is completely reversible, and reverse reaction is called Meerwein-Pondorf-Verlet reduction. That is also called MPV reduction, Meerwein-Pondorf-Verlet reduction. And this oxidation is a selective oxidation. It only oxidizes alcohols but without disturbing any other carbon-carbon double bonds or triple bonds. Means unsaturation is not going to disturb, only alcohol group gets oxidized. Now, let us consider alpha beta unsaturated alcohol. And this alcohol is very clear secondary alcohol which upon reaction with aluminum isopropoxide means isopropyl alcohol derivative this one, aluminum isopropoxide and solvent acetone solvent, we are getting C double bond O means C secondary alcohol converts into ketone without disturbing the carbon-carbon double bond. So why it is not going to oxidize? Being an oxidizing agent, preferably oxidizes carbon-carbon multiple bonds only. But in this case, why carbon-carbon multiple bond is not going to oxidize? Let us see. Here I am going to take one more compound. It is what Garniol, and in this case, two double bonds are there. Basically, the double bond which is more substituted that has more tendency to oxidize means that double bond particularly more electron rich. Being more electron rich, it has a more tendency to accept nascent oxygen. But here, even though more substitute double bonds are there, they are not going to disturb. Only the CH2OH converts into aldehyde. And here I am going to use parabenzoquinone. Parabenzoquinone is generally like this. Parabenzoquinone, and this one converts like this. This one converts 1,4-dihydroxybenzene. Parabenzoquinone converts into 1,4-dihydroxybenzene after accepting hydrogen. Means hydride transfer takes place. Now let us see the mechanism. I used to consider one alcohol. Let us say secondary alcohol RR-CHOH. And this secondary alcohol initially reacts with aluminum isopropoxide or aluminum tertiary butoxide. So here in aluminum isopropoxide OCH-Me2, and isopropyl alcohol derivative this one. And here aluminum is electron pair acceptor, means Lewis acid accept electron pair from oxygen, and means this alcohol which one undergoes oxidation, that alcohol containing oxygen containing lone pair will be donated to vacant orbital of aluminum. Resultant, there will be new bond formation between oxygen and aluminum. Further, this oxygen is going to bear positive charge. In order to compensate that positive charge, OH bond electrons will be shifted towards oxygen. That means H plus comes out, and whenever oxygen donates electron pair to this aluminum is going to acquire negative charge, and here OCHMe2 comes out. Means here isopropoxide ion abstracts this hydrogen and it converts into isopropyl alcohol. Now what remains here? The newly formed bond in between this alcohol which undergoes oxidation and then oxygen and aluminum isopropoxide aluminum. Now we are getting like this. And not only like this, here you are getting means these two alkyl, these two isopropoxy groups also going to convert into like this. Now I used to explain with only one group, and further this one I am going to write like this RrCOAl. Here aluminum attached to two isopropoxy group. I am going to assume like that. This carbon consists hydrogen. This one upon reaction with the solvent. Here solvent is hydride ion acceptor as I mentioned. Hydride ion acceptor. Then this CH bond electrons are shifted towards this carbon and C double bond electrons, pi electrons are shifted towards aluminum and aluminum oxygen bond electrons are shifted towards carbon. If you observe here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is a 6-membered cyclic transition state mechanism. So opener oxidation proceeds via 6-membered cyclic transition state mechanism, and this reaction is a constructed mechanism. There is no more free ions exist here, only constructed mechanism. Now because of this 6-membered cyclic transition state, later complete bond breaking and bond formation takes place. This bond is going to break completely, and here this bond is going to break completely. Then what we are writing? RC double bond OR, RC double bond OR, and this aluminum, these two isopropoxides as such, and in addition to that, instead of one isopropyl group here, you are getting CH3O like that. Means if you are using any other alcohol, okay, fine. So here aluminum isopropoxide it remains as such. If you are using any other alcohol, then that will be displaced by again isopropyl alcohol. Overall reaction, if you observe, simply oxidation of OH group. Is there any possibility to attack upon this carbon-carbon double bond? There is no way. There is no way. That's why unsaturation still remains as such.